The concept of reinforcement has origins in the behaviorist approach. Its meaning, however, comes from the theories of cognitivism, constructivism, and the social-cultural perspective. Behaviorists, through experiments on animals, noticed that a certain behavior tends to repeat itself over time if the consequences are positive for the subject, while it tends to become extinct if the consequences are negative. Edward Lee Thorndike, and in particular Bruce Skinner, started their studies on reinforcement. According to Thorndike, the learning on trial and error leads to the consolidation of the reactions. Responses followed by a satisfactory result become more strongly associated with the situation and are therefore more likely to recur in the future. Conversely, responses followed by negative outcomes are more weakly associated and less likely to recur in the future. Deepening the studies conducted by Thorndike, Skinner proposed his formulation of behavior defined as operant conditioning. The basic idea is that it is possible to induce learning, intended as a modification of behavior, by providing appropriate stimuli to the student. These stimuli produce the desired responses. One of the conditions for the learning to take place is that the provoked behavior is reinforced through reinforcement contingencies. The questions that must be asked by those who develop a didactic system are therefore: what behavior must be built? What reinforcements do we have? What reactions are usual when we are going to carry out a program or progressive approximation, which will lead to the final behaviors? The answer to some of these questions has led to the development of methods that have largely influenced the educational technology sector. According to Skinner, the teaching process must be divided into a very large number of short phases. The result of these studies is the programmed instruction. This is a teaching technique based on the conception that a positive effect produces desired behaviors in a subject. Then it allows getting knowledge. Through this methodology, students learn in a gradual, linear, sequential way, starting with the solution of a simple problem and continuing to solve increasingly complex problems. Within this process, feedback plays a fundamental role because it promotes the new resolution of the problems and the development of learning. Cognitivism differs from behaviorism in one fundamental aspect: from the observation of responses that individuals give as a result of different stimuli. Cognitivists believe they can derive information on the nature of the internal intellectual processes that generate the observed responses. The acquisition, processing, and storage of information are the key processes of learning. They believe that learning occurs when the learner processes information. The instructor is the manager of the information input process, but the learner is active in planning and carrying out his own learning. According to constructivism, it is each of us who generates his own laws and his own mental models that we use to give meaning to our experiences. Learning, therefore, is the process of adjusting our mental models for the reordering of new experiences. While behaviorists see knowledge as nothing other than the passive and automatic response to environment stimuli, and the cognitivists see knowledge as an abstract symbolic representation in the mind of individuals, the constructivists see knowledge as a complex entity, built up by each as it passes through a learning process. Knowledge, therefore, cannot be transmitted from one individual to another one. It must be reinvented by each person. After all, you never learn anything completely new, because each new cognition is grafted into structures of knowledge already present in our mind. Construction occurs through interaction with the environment. The student identifies in the environment those aspects that are relevant to him and to which he can respond in a meaningful way. The position of the socio-cultural perspective, on the other hand, believes that educational psychology must be connotated as a meeting point between models of development and models of socialization and education. According to the theory of social learning, mainly due to Albert Bandura, people can learn even simply by observing the behavior of others, without personally experiencing any condition, and this for two main reasons: interest of observable behavior. Cognitive factors influence what is observed, and the perception that a person has of his own competence, the self-efficacy. According to Bandura, the effects of reinforcement are mediated by thoughts and beliefs. The fact that individuals expect to be reinforced in a behavior is more important than the fact that they have previously been reinforced for that behavior. Individuals' beliefs about future reinforcement appear to be determining causes in their behavior. The perception that an individual has of his own competence is important, which can come from four different sources: real experience, past successes and failures as well; vicarious experiences, observing others who complete a task successfully, one the most influential when one has little personal experience in a task; verbal persuasion, encouragement can support self-confidence. Try it, you know you can. The psychological stimulus perception of one's reaction in relation to the past performance. Therefore, we do not learn only on the basis of the mechanism of reward and punishment, as behaviorism claims, but also on the basis of observational learning or vicarious learning, for which the consequences related to the behavior implemented by the model, rewards or punishments, have the same effects on the observer.